everybody. Welcome to Tomato Tour Tuesdays. Lauren, if it's your first time here, welcome. I've been coming to you every Thursday for a couple months now. It is July 30th, 2024. For those of you watching the recording, it happens to be my birthday. Today I turned 55 years old. And there's no place I would rather spend 55 than with hanging with you guys, my tomato head friends, and looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly in what is, thanks Rowena, thanks for being here. Hey Ro, thanks for being here. Unlike my Thursday show, let me finish that thought and then I'll see if I can remember the other thought. Now I forgot both thoughts. This is what happens at 55 years old. I don't remember. So I do also do a Thursday show. It's called Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce. And that's sit down. Thank you, Karen. Thanks for being here. Let's sit down and I go detailed through happy double nickels, Lauren. Thanks, Deb. I go through like 10 varieties I'm obsessed with that particular week, which is always more than 10. And I'm always doing things and stuff. This is really just looking at my garden. Last week, it sort of turned into also looking at what is ripening on my counter. Thanks, Susan. Thanks for being here. Oh, so one thing that bugs me Tuesday, so I have to use YouTube Live. I can't use StreamYard, my other platform. So I can't put the comments on the screen like I like to on Thursdays. Thanks, Swamp Bitch. Thank you. Hey, Yvette, for being here. So thankfully, it's not all that hot out today. I don't know how hot it is, but maybe 85? I guess we'll find out in a minute. We have had a cool period the last couple days, but you'll see from my garden when we go out, and you saw remnants of it. You saw hints of it last week. Things are looking rough. But I sound like a brat, I realize, because if you've seen any of the pictures, the group, I run a group on Facebook for those of you that are just watching on YouTube. It's called Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap. It's a year old. I run it with Jen, Joy, and Keynote. It's actually more like, it's really more a collective. It's a Tomato Lovers home base, is I guess the way to call it. We're way more than a swap. Now I forget where I was with that. The group. Oh, so if you've seen some of the photos I've been posting, I have no reason to complain about how my plants are looking. Hi, Pam. Thanks for being here from Nebraska. Thanks for being here. Because I have an enormous amount of tomatoes, which I'll show in a minute. Enormous amount of tomatoes. The same thing, thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you very much, Pam. Same thing happened last year. I feel like, I don't know if it's the mushroom compost, like everything comes on hard and strong and fast, and then it fizzles out, but it has been painfully dry. Now again, thanks Missy, thanks for being here. I'm looking at people, out west, down south, as far as your drought. I'm sure it's nothing in comparison, but we haven't had significant rainfall in weeks. And I am similar to Jen. Hi, Idaho Garden Girl. Dee's Garden Adventures. I started more tomato seeds, hoping to get more than a handful late summer, fall. Spring, fall was disappointing. Good idea. I'm going to show you some of my sucker plants. This is my third year in a row doing sucker plants, which I'll talk about in a minute. So for reasons just like this, thanks Brianna. Reasons just like this, if it's a rough season, things happen, weather happens, Mother Nature happens. SB got rain today. It's been forever. Work today, would rather be in the garden. Happy birthday. Thank you very much. So I don't tend to water, but we've had to. And the thing is, like every single day you look at WeatherBug, which is what we just tend to use, the app WeatherBug, and it's like chance of showers. So I'm like, oh, I'm not going to bother watering today. And then it never happens. I don't know if this happens to you guys. Maybe it's just a summer thing in New Jersey, but we really haven't had significant rainfall in weeks. So we've been getting out the hose. We don't have drip irrigation, honestly, because we just have never needed it. We don't water a lot because I feel like it's a recipe for disease, but I'm getting disease out there. A lot of it you'll see though. Thank you, Sashka, I appreciate it. Hey, Sharva, thank you very much. you will see things are starting to shrivel up. But there's still an enormous amount of tomatoes out there, and I'll show you my counter in a minute. But I just want to keep it real with you guys. You know, although I've got all these great tomatoes and I have no reason to complain at all, you'll see some of my plants are just sad. But I know, you know, some of you have yet to have one tomato, and I don't want to sound ungrateful. I'm very, very grateful. But it's been a rough season for, gosh, just about everybody I talked to in the tomato community. I think we had one person last Thursday who maybe it was last Tuesday, who chimed in and said, I'm having a good season. And in hindsight, obviously having a good season. I've got these incredible tomatoes. I don't know if you guys saw the review I did today of Bogatyr Ilyusha. Oh my God. Hey, Kina, glad you're here. Kina person, I showed that tomato to Kina and Jen. It's amazing. We're having so many, we're tasting so many 9s out of 10, which is really rare for us. But just so you know, we're also, Brianna, that tomato, I know. Let me show you over here. So what I do when we taste every night, so over here, since it's my birthday, we're going to do a grand tasting. We still have a lot of things we haven't tasted yet. I kind of wish they weren't all big ones, you know, because I like to cut those up when it's sandwich time. Susan, you ordered that tomato from Lynn. No, I can't wait for next spring. That's awesome sauce. Let me tell you, I ordered it from Lux Tomatoes. She has the best pictures. And so we do our tastings here at night, and then the remnants will go in these bags. And then I'll label it. This is the only remnant from Bogatyr Ilyusha. So I'm going to use this, save seeds. This variety doesn't have a whole lot of seeds, but so we label it, and then I squeeze the seeds out, and the pulp goes in bags like this, which goes into my recipe for tomato crack. But let me tell you, it seems like I'm only posting good ones, and that's because I am, because when I find these great ones, it's a tomato party mix. You're right, it is a tomato party mix. When I find the amazing ones, I'm like, I have to tell them about this right now. But we're also tasting some 6s, 7s, 8. Honestly, 8s are still a really good tomato. 7s are still a good tomato. We haven't had anything bad, I don't think. And I think that just comes from talking with you guys, from the group, from speaking with members all over the world, saying, you know, and I think, and tell me, you guys, if you feel this is true, I think you kind of sync up with people who you think you have the same palate with. Because just because I think Bogatyr Ilyusha was spectacular, it's not for everybody. You know, some people like milder, non-acidic and all that. That's not your tomato. If you like loud flavor, thanks Darcy, I appreciate it. But if you like loud flavor, it was amazing. So I have all these reviews in the wings, waiting in the wings to go for later. Like I really should have posted, I probably have 30 at least that I haven't put up yet. Terracotta Cherry is one that I've been meaning to put up for weeks. There's one, I've talked about it a few times, from Evan from Bounty Hunters, not Bounty Hunter, that's Sean. Evan from Bloom Seed House. And it's a really great tomato, but when I get super excited, I'm like, I have to put something now. So it may seem to you that we give everything a 9, and that's not the case at all. Those of you that have watched my reviews the past year or so, you'll know that like an 8 is a really good solid tomato. Those Lavorgienne from yesterday, which for some reason is a very controversial tomato, I don't understand why, but my version of Lavorgienne potato leaf was great, and I gave it an 8. It wasn't one that I'm like going to dream about, like Bogatyr Ilyusha, like Suffer Well, like Shake the Disease, like Nano's Meatball, like Dwarf Ochre Heart. I know there may be more. Jarson 10. Hey Linda, glad you're here. Go be with your mom. You should be with your mom, but thank you for chiming in. So anyway, so I'm kind of jumping the gun and being like, they need to know. There are so many good ones. Why waste time reviewing something that is meh? I agree, and I guess I figure I have all winter to do that. And not meh, like to somebody like my meh could be amazing. Like last night we did, oh, hi Linda's mom. I love Linda. Linda is my Depeche Mode angel and responsible for Suffer Well, I think is the best tomato I've ever had. And then I had Shake the Disease, and I'm not which one I like better now. But what was I going to show? This is just remnants, but this is Clairvoyant Sorcerer. Let me see if I can put the camera down. It's only the remnants. We tasted this last night, and it's one I've been curious about for a while. You can see this interior, really beautiful. It was a huge tomato. We're getting a number of them. You can kind of catch a glimpse of what it looked like. I will post the review up. I think we gave it maybe a 7.5. I have to look at our notes. It's still a really great tomato. Those of you that like milder tomatoes, that like yellows and oranges, you will love Clairvoyant Sorcerer. For me, it just lacked that, as Malachite Jen, smack yo mama intense flavor that I love. So over here you can kind of see, this is, I've been saving seeds for a while. This is what I've got going now. There needs to be more. So I saved, there is a video in the group as to my process, but I save them in mason jars. You can save them in anything. I use coffee filters to give it the air, to make it an aerobic fermenting process. And then I got my little scale here because I like to weigh them all. My old refractometer, which Rob likes to use to confirm that the new refractometer is correct. I picked up, those of you not in New Jersey may not know that we have the best corn in the world. It's sweet corn. And I got some of that for my birthday. We always have that on hand in the summer, but I just got back from our farm stand. That is one thing I don't grow. And then yesterday I got 2 amazing gifts in the mail. One was from Kina, as like a happy 1-year anniversary TLC gift, and included so many amazing things. This bracelet, the first one here, the pink one, for one. She saw that I love crystal bracelets. This amazing hat, which I think I'm going to wear Thursday for Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce. It's got tomato over it, some Norwegian chocolate, like just very, very thoughtful. And then I also got one from, I hope I'm not embarrassing her, but Sathya sent me a birthday gift, and it is a tomato shirt, tomato pad, tomato, I can just show it to you actually, it's all over here except for one thing. Right here. So Sathya, I think you're watching, I think I saw you, thank you very much, and a very kind note. And then these books. And so when Rob and I review, I'm usually trying to do it directly in my spreadsheet, and it gets to be a bit custom. So last night we decided what better use. She sent me 2 of these notebooks, and so that's where we put the brick scale, our initial writings. What do you do with, this is a great question. What do you do with tomatoes that you just don't like? Hang on, let me go back. We detested Streets of Broken Lantern, beautiful prolific like a Florida tomato. Interesting. I mean, I'm sorry for you. That came off of my grow list like very last minute. Honestly, Sathya, thank you. It was so fun putting those trinkets together. Thank you. It's really, really thoughtful. You made my day. They go great in tomato crack. They're slow roasted tomatoes that I do in roasting pans just like this one. And it's just olive oil. I cut up the tomatoes into, not super small, oops, I showed it, chunks, but like this. Extra virgin olive oil. Doesn't have to be this one. This happens to be my favorite of all time. Herbs from the garden, garlic. I've been using garlic scapes lately. I am telling you that the worst tomatoes in the world when roasted are delicious. I speak to this because there's Black Beauty in it, Black Strawberry was good in it, Dancing with Smurfs was good in it, OSU Blue was good in it, and then a very tragic one we grew last year, which I didn't realize was OSU Blue. OSU Blue is the same as P20, green zebra and P20. It's that heavy antho stuff I just don't like. So I am telling you, roast it. look at my tomato crack recipe, or at the very least, just slow roast, low and slow, like 300 degrees all day long. And it turns out to be this really ugly auburn mush. Yes, you can even eat indigo rose when it's in sauce or crack. You are right. Because I think tomatoes are, I forget the percentage of water, 90% water. Keen, I'm sure you can correct me, or one of you out there can correct me. When you take all the water out, you're left with just the sugars. So even the worst tomato. So have no fear, because I hate waste too. So I guess I'm glad I didn't grow streets of broken lanterns. So this is what we've got right now. And I've shared this before, we pick at first blush. We've almost always picked at first blush. I think I'm gonna try it again today, but I've done a test with the refractometer, testing the sugar content of picking at first blush versus ripening on the vine, and there is no difference, no taste difference. If picky me is getting this many 9s and would suffer well, we think that might be a perfect 10, actually. Yes, Missy, have no fear, crack it is. You won't be sorry. It's really ugly, but it's really tasty. They're not suffering. And it prevents cracking. I mean, I'm still getting some because we've had this drought. So when I water, it's getting a little bit of cracking. We've had some critter problems, especially with my micros on the deck. And it takes a couple days tops. Like if you saw this picture in the group it was a lot of green. I mean, there's still a lot of green because I like green when ripe tomatoes. Have a penchant for that. But so these were all picked at first blush. And you'll see that when we go outside, you won't find much on the vines at all. Had to add a second table this year. We've never had to do that. We had this last year and then back there, which was a piece of furniture we inherited from my daughter. My kids move and they leave us with furniture. So now I'm keeping long keepers back there and my homegrown potatoes for now. So this table is Jarson's Villas. And then I had to add a couple big things back here today that are not Jarsons and Kazulas. This one's interesting. So this is supposed to be, that's not a good example. This is supposed to be a variety. Do you find your tomatoes go? Do you mean rot? Yes. Let me make sure I read the question right. Do you find your tomatoes go? I'm assuming you mean like go as in rot, and yes, they do. Especially the hotter it gets in the house. We try to keep the air on when we can, but they do. Go bad on that plastic table easier. I guess we're gonna find out that the plastic table is new. Have you considered doing a video when you make your tomato crack? I think I did. If I didn't, I meant to. I'll have to go back in my archives. I think I did, but if not, I will. It's super easy. The only downside is you need to be around all day because it's in the oven all day. I mean, you don't have to cook it all day. The longer you cook it, the more concentrated it gets. If you still want, all the vibrant colors and just want to cook it down a little, a couple hours will be okay. Normally I put it in the morning and take it out late afternoon, dinner time. I didn't think about the plastic table. I had to go back to placing on glass platters. Plastic made mine go bad quick. Good tip, Francis. Did not know. Didn't think about that. I was thinking I was pretty genius with this. Well, we will be. Heading back to work. Wish I could stay on longer. We'll catch up with you later. Thanks, SB. You get the replay later. Gosh, I watched the part of a replay a couple weeks ago out in the garden. I hope the service when I'm live isn't as bad as when I'm out there as I'm watching it. Hey, thank you for all you do. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. 55 today. I keep having that song by Sammy Hagar, I Can't Drive 55 in my head. I forget what I was gonna say. Anyway, the quality was awful. So I hope it's at least tolerable when we're live together. I'm cutting out just a bit, shoot. I wish I could do something about it. On Thursdays, I get to be hardwired directly into the what do you call it? Ethernet with this. I'm at the mercy of my Wi-Fi, which is not great out in the boonies. Deb says, I started putting my monster pan of tomato crack in the oven at 7 p.m., 5 a.m. morning. It's perfect for me to blend and can. Great idea to do it overnight. I like that. Why have I never thought of that? That's a fabulous idea. And it makes the house smell really good, doesn't it? Oh yeah, it smells awesome. So I wanted to show you, hey Nicole, glad you're here. This variety is not true to type. It's a variety, this is a small one, called Rojo Verde Bicolore de Harl. You guys may have seen it on Tomato Eden. It is a green, red, supposed to be a green, red striped tomato that looked good. And I'm getting a big plant full of these. And they're good. They're not 9, not even sure there were 8 good. There were 7 good. And those of you that like your tomatoes, your yellows and your oranges, you're gonna love this. So I messaged Tatiana from Tomato Eden yesterday saying, you know, was this an accidental cross? Could it be a seed mix-up? We think it was an accidental cross. She's pretty certain about that. So I don't know. I'm going to have a lot of seeds. It's definitely not going to be stable, but it really is spectacular when you guys see the interior pictures. Wow, it's big and it's good and really, really big. So let's look at the tables again. If there's anything, I know there's a lot here, but if there's anything you guys want me to out, let me know. Look at this. This is Jarson 7 variant 1. Obviously, I love tomatoes that look like this. Kina, if you're watching still, you know the Jarson 7 from Lux Tomatoes that looks to die for? Here's a ripe one. Unfortunately, this one's growing in between our fence posts, so it's not the prettiest one. But this one shows it a little better. That's a little bit better. But isn't that beautiful? So I'm growing that 7 and also, well, Jarson 7-1. And is that I'm growing several different versions of things. I have 2 different versions of Jarson 5. I've got 3 different versions of Jarson 16. There's the purple one, which I posted a review on already. This is a green red, which I haven't posted a review on, but we review it. And then over here, I think we're doing it tonight. Over here, Kina, if you're still watching. Is Ansel here? Hey, Ansel. This is the orange, red, yellow F6. So it's amazing to me how the same cross can bring such different looking tomatoes. It's really super cool. Let me point out a couple other things that really look neat. There's a variety that was exclusive, brand new this year and exclusive to Tomato Revolution. And I was given seeds by somebody, I wish I knew who, but it's from the Dwarf Tomato Project. That apparently they only released it to Tomato Revolution, and it's called Great Scott. And it looked really neat. And of course, oh, thank you, Sathya. Yes, please like and subscribe. I think I am really close to 900, which is really cool. So look at this. This is a dwarf. They Jarson are giving so much. I know they are. So this is cool, Jarson, Great Scott. Haven't tasted that one yet. I think I talked last week about this Sergeant Pepper wheat, which I'm using in air quotes. This is really special. Kina and I have renamed it since it's a variant. So the white is a variant off of the yellow Sergeant Pepper, but this is obviously not the white. It doesn't have antho on the top like the other Sergeant Peppers, and the interior, when I post pictures, you'll see it looks like a peach. So we are naming this one Sergeant Pepper's Peach, and that is really delicious, really delicious. This one is our only one so far. We've got more coming. This one's called Heart of the Lower Tree. Not quite ripe yet. You know what was surprisingly delicious? Assol, ASSOL, which I got, oops, which I got from Tomato Galaxy. I'm not a big fan of reds, and this was great. Lena posted a great battle between Abraham Brown and Cowboy sauce. I'm not growing Cowboy, but I am growing Abraham Brown, and I have not reviewed it yet. It's in here somewhere. Oh, here it is right here. Abraham Brown. Is that ready? Looks pretty ready. Cowboy 1. Awesome. This one we reviewed. I haven't put up a review yet either, but this one from Sean at Bounty Hunter, you guys, Hunk Papa, is really delicious. So I'm finding some reds that I like. This is pretty. Haven't reviewed this yet. Marzipan Gold. This one I got from Tomato Charme. Keen, I just saw your message. I know. I talked about this last week, and Cordaro, same thing. This is Seven Rivers Tricolor, which from all pictures and accounts was not supposed to have antho. This one does not look like it has antho, but if you look at every other one, they've got antho. I never heard what you thought of it, Cordaro. Some have more antho depending on how much sun it gets. This one, I'll just leave it at that. This was delicious. Multicolor, another one from Sean at Bounty Hunter Seeds. Absolutely delicious. This was a solid 8. Deb gave me this one, Alchemist. We tasted this. It's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Alafirov Secret. Cordaro said it was bland. Okay. Well, thanks. Alafirov Secret is such a heavy producer of these things. Like everything over here is, all the striped ones, it's all Alafirov Secret. And then these are more of the Bogatyr Ilyusha. That is one spectacular tomato. This is the smallest one on the plant. What is this? Oh, well, sad news on prime rib, you guys. It was just kind of okay. I'm going to give it another shot. That's the one that it was on a plant that only grew to be like 31, 32 inches tall, and it was swimming in these huge tomatoes. And it was just kind of like for the interior. In my review of Bogatyr Ilyusha, I said for one of the first couple sentences, like you cut into this, you look at the interior picture, and you shouldn't really have to say anything. You know it's going to be good. And so we felt that way with prime rib. It looked like it was going to be super good. Same thing also with Blue Ridge Black. Really disappointing. You think that dark interior means great tomato, intense flavor, and it doesn't necessarily. I don't know how I got on that tangent or what I was even talking about. But it always goes, oh yeah, so the prime rib, disappointing. But before I put up a review, I want to taste another one because I really, really want to like it. But I'm also really, really honest. Yeah, I need to put that in soil next year, but it looks so good. Kina, it is your kind of tomato. And I know you like. Do you have any Fred Hempels? I do. The only one is Ray, and I've already, my plant is not doing well at all. And I've already seeded it for what I've got so far. It was really good. It was a delicious tomato. Plant not doing well, split really easily. Skin's a bit chewier than I like, but that's kind of typical of Fred's varieties because of what his mission is. His mission while he was alive was to create outstanding flavored tomatoes with heirloom colors and all of that can withstand transportation, so people in grocery stores and farmers markets aren't left with the awful things that they're left with buying fresh tomatoes. So he needed to make the skin thicker. But sweetness, it was a good, I think I gave it an 8. I'll post that review soon, but I don't have anything on the table yet because I've only gotten like 3 fruits off of it. Yeah, you know what? Here's something else that has been super productive is Quar Antico di Ravenna. Tons, and you'll see some on the vine outside that are still blushing because I can't get to them in time, but getting tons of those beauties, and they're really tasty. They're these plum, dark purple. Alex from Lucky Garden really loved that. He did an episode with that, and also these babies, dwarf, Jarson 13 Ochre Pear. Aren't these gorgeous? Reviewed this the other day. This is a very good tomato. And that's really prolific also. I don't think I actually put a review of Jarson 12-1 up yet. Sathi, I'm so glad you asked that. Did you grow chocolate etoile? I sure did. And I think here's one because I've put them all to seed. That is a delicious, delicious little splitting there, tomato. And the plant is doing great. It's really prolific. What do you think of it? Or are you just asking? It's really good, delicious, surprisingly so, because the pictures I was finding didn't show just the color was inside. But I knew it was rare, so I had to grow it, of course. But yeah, that is delicious, and I'm hoping to get many, many more of that. These guys are Amarillo Rust Heart, which is just kind of okay. Just asking, my seeds didn't hit soil this year. You want those to hit soil next year. Really, really great. Gosh, I don't want to spend all our time inside. Is there anything else? I know it's hard to pick things out. Oh, this was good the other day too, Muddy Mamba. I think this was an 8. Aren't the colors are just unreal. I think we're reviewing this tonight, Morado Andalusia, kind of a funky looking one. We're getting so many big, big tomatoes, and these Jarsons, this is that massive Jarson 22, not the same one. I already see that this is another one. Look at this. Crazy, crazy. What do we have down here? Oh, this is Liz Burt, which we haven't reviewed yet. This is not ripe. Getting tons off of that. Reviewing this one tonight. This is called Aljanuska. Hopefully we're reviewing tonight. We've a lot of reviewing to do. Rob asked me last night. We've been trying to taste like anywhere between 3 and 5 a night. Yeah, I just thought they are huge tomatoes. They are. They really, really are. And not all of them, when you look at the crosses, not all of them are huge tomatoes. Like, Jarson 1, you can understand he used Copia, which is a huge tomato in the cross. But Jarson 18, what's Jarson 18? Malachite box. Oh, and Copia, right? Yeah, I'm wrong. 18.3 is Malachite box and Copia. Jarson 1 is Great White and Kazula. I'm forgetting. I'm slipping, you guys. But anyway, not all of the crosses are typically big tomatoes, but they are big tomatoes. Look at, this is one, this gave me this plant. This is Kazula. Oop, got to turn the camera around, Lauren. You turn 55, you start to lose it. Kazula 222. And then Heidi Dolan and I thought, she gave me seed for Kazula 55. The cross is Cherokee Purple and something else, which I don't remember. But it's only an F2, generation 2. So she thought it would be fun for the two of us to each grow out 2 plants, see what we get, and save seeds. So here is plant 1. Thank you, Maylin. That's plant 1 of Kazula 55. Put that here. And this is plant 2. Very different. And it's not just random fruits there. It's the air plant like that. So part of what I find so exciting in these crosses, for people that really, really need to know exactly what they're getting, Jarsons, Kazulas, it may drive you a bit nuts. Even Verde Bicolore de Harl. I've also got a couple that are not true to type, others that aren't true to type. Turtle Purple turned out to be incorrect. Pretty sure Lloyd Fry is incorrect. That might be it. It seems like more. and apparently somebody said my Lavorgienne wasn't correct, but every picture, if you look on the internet and Google, every picture shows that fruit different. So it was Lavorgien. I'm calling it Lavorgien. I stick by my review. It was very, and he also said that if you thought it was excellent, the wrong tomato. And I'm like, well, that's weird. We all think things are, we all like different things. Here's another example. Oh, you guys, I could talk about this stuff all day, and I do. So Jarson 12. I know it's a cross between Zapotec, which is a red-ribbed heirloom, and I don't know, Zapotec and Copia, that one, right? So this one I've posted pictures of already. You would expect this, the ribbed and all of that. That's Jarson 12 version 1. This is just regular Jarson 12. So same cross, totally different tomato. Kina, let's just look at that Jarson 17 from Lux again, shall we? Isn't it beautiful? Getting the light. Oh, can't wait to bite into that. All right, should we go outside? Guess we should go outside. Moderator from my group Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain sent me those flowers today, which was just lovely. Let me show you quickly what we're going to be reviewing tonight. I don't think I've gone through. So we've got, this is Jarson 17, which I was given seeds from Teresa from Terra Nova. This is sort of a version she grew out last year that's butterscotch. I'm growing, I think, one other version of Jarson 17. This is an experimental variety from Tatiana at Tomato Eden. It's called Big Festival Tulip Green. Super cool, right? Can't wait to see what's inside of that. This is, Kina's got one that looks exactly the same from a Rohaline, something like that. Not sure how we're gonna cut into that one, but it's obviously a couple tomatoes fused together. I have a couple other ones that will be easier to cut into. They're not quite ripe yet, and I wanna cut into this where it goes bad. This is what? This is the Algenuska. This is the Jarson 16, orange, red, yellow, green, F6. I've already reviewed the Jarson 5 from Tomato Eden. This is the from Lux Tomatoes. They look kind of the same, but I'll be curious to see what the inside looks like. Murado, Andalusia. Oh, I'm feeling a bruise there. And then it's another prime rib. I want to give another try. Francis, no one can say the members of this group are deficient in vitamin C. Ain't that the truth? And this is probably TMI. I think, how am I going to word this? I pee constantly. And when we're doing these taste tests at night, I'm getting up. I don't know if you guys find the same thing, but because there's so much water into me. Yeah. So I think we're pretty healthy. Is your can't stop getting sick? Ours shot up, but now the bottom half is getting leaf spot real bad. It's not looking great, Dara. We'll go take a look. This table has a lot of mainly micros that I need to save seeds for. This is one I've been helping Ellie from Bunny Hop Seeds stabilize. It's called Bear, and it's producing these incredible orange beefsteaks on this really small plant. Really neat, right? This is now one of my must-haves. By the way, guys, get your micro dwarf seeds ready because we're starting Micropalooza on September 1st. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically just the group, whoever wants to participate, grows micro dwarfs indoors during the winter. And we're gifted with luscious tomatoes in the off season. Zusa Luis, or Sweet Luis. This is the best yellow micro I've ever had. It's got a Brix of like 8.9, which is unheard of for micros. What is this one? Oh, this is that stick mooncalf. I don't know if Michael's watching, but people are saying they're having a hard time getting ripe fruit on that. That is a weirdo plant. Henry Harrington's we've got. Your micros are already taking over your living room, Francis. Yeah, well, get ready. Dwarf Patio Plum I reviewed on Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce a couple weeks ago. It's phenomenal. Oh, this is Lil Red and Black, for those of you that haven't seen that yet. Big plant, more of a mini dwarf, but really pretty, really pretty. And then this one is Aqua, otherwise known as watercolor. It's starting to go there, but those, I thought they were red, but they are gold. So I've got a lot of seeds to do, but that's okay. I enjoy it. I All right, let's go outside. See the sky, it looks like it's going to rain, but it never does. Never does. Ms. Lauren, can you show me your coyote? I would like to see. Not growing coyote this year. Surprising, I know. Growing my coyote crosses, things I'm trying to stabilize from coyote, but I'm not growing coyote. But I'd be happy to show you pictures, later if you private message me, I can show you pictures of coyote. Basically, it's like a wild beast with small, opaque, yellow fruits. Jen said she didn't like it. For me, it's my favorite cherry. So it just goes to show that we all have different taste buds. Let's see. Over here, things aren't looking so bad up on the deck. Over here, I've got some micros I started more summer squash to go to their bed. Ooh, these sprouts. Looking for Franchi's Lilliput as a micro, as my most wanted a couple weeks ago, and she sent them to me. And as of a couple hours ago, they hadn't sprouted yet, but there they are. They need water. Then I'm going to try growing Nano's Meatball Dwarf inside, seeing how that goes, because that was phenomenal. I've got a couple bee times. I've been playing around with how to germinate bee times Macbeth because it can be challenging. So these two, I actually soaked the seeds in water for 3 days. When they sprouted a tail, I put them in the water and they were good to go. These are the crosses that I've been working on, dwarf crosses, which is exciting. And then over here, I don't know if it's too late or not, but I started that yellow submarine that Ramonte was talking about a couple weeks ago. I talked about it on my show. I really should have up-potted this like a week ago, and it's been sitting in here. Otherwise, it would be growing faster. And then another one by Phil Griffiths called Jaded, which is a green, when ripe cherry that looks great. I started another dwarf patio plum because I'm loving that, digging it. Oh, Kina gave me seeds for this. This is Toledo, which is a micro dwarf, looking good. And then a couple things that say they're micro dwarfs, but think not. Arctic pot and patio. And then this one Wilford. I started seeds for that for Micropalooza last year. And I'm like, this is growing really tall. And same thing again. That's not a micro, but I would like to grow it out and see what the heck it is. And then these sorry looking things are the remnants of my F2 grow out. The ones I did not up pot for my Drop the Micro, my very first micro cross. You can see I've got one Lone Ranger tomato there. So I've got others down on the ground that are looking much better. So things are looking good in the green stalk, my micros. Still very excited for crow's eye, speaking of micro dwarfs. Let me show you, I don't have anything ripe yet, but this is Kina gave me seeds for this. Thank you, Kina. This is one of my crow's eyes, otherwise known as Voroni glass. That's one of them. And then I think I have one here in the green. I know I have one here in the green stalk somewhere. If you just find it. The micro peppers and micro dwarf tomatoes are doing great in this. Oh, this is Heidi Dolan's soon to be released micro Pause Pride, which I've showed you guys for the last couple of weeks. It's a great big old plant over there, but I thought I'd try it in the green stalk also, and they're starting to ripen. Look at the size of these. Will you move your green stalk micros inside when winter comes? Probably not. Probably not. Oh, here's the other crow's eye right here. So as typical with antho varieties, they take a long time to ripen. So nothing from there yet. But I'm just grateful that I got germination and have healthy fruits. All right, you see this? And then you see this. These are my critters, my little chipmunks. They hang, these hanging plants. This is dwarf microberry, looking a little sad, but I see them hanging from here, taking the tomatoes, and who can blame them? Delicious. It's really very funny. That's Tumbling Jester. I'll show you better down below. For those of you following along on my journey with Bee Times Macbeth, boy, are these things spectacular. Just when you think it's over with, and I know I showed these last week, they just get bigger and bigger, and they keep producing. These are my original plants. Look at all the flowers on it. This is no determinant, my friends, and there's a lot of them. So this is a really good option for. All right, hopefully I'm back. Now it's starting to get hot, so hopefully I don't burn. This is my 2-year-old Vilma. She looks bad, but don't count her out yet. She will actually be in like a week. She'll be 2 years old. She's come back from the dead before. Michael, if you're watching, this is your micro, looking good. Here's the other of Heidi's Paws Pride micro. Look at the beauty of this. I think she's releasing it to Secret Seed Cartel ASAP because Secret Seed Cartel put something on their Instagram page. Really beautiful fruits. I've already picked some blushing ones because I don't want the critters to get these, but it was struggling for a bit, but you know, once I up potted it, that's a 2-gallon pot. That is a beautiful, beautiful, and I was telling Heidi, it's almost multiflora up there. B times Macbeth is massive. It is. It is. I did grow one in the green stalk, and it did fine. As is typical with most micros, it will conform to what you put it in. So these are all, actually, those are 2-gallon. This one I thought I would try 3-gallon, but it did fine in the green stalk too. So don't let it sway you if you want to grow it, because I was growing it in 1-gallon before, and it will give you fruit. And they're quite tasty, and they are long keepers. Let me, don't want to go back inside because who knows if we'll come back out, but I've been kind of experimenting with how long are these long keepers. This bowl keeps getting more, but you can see they get shrivelly, but I swear the flavor gets even more. I apologize for the tremors. My neurological stuff's been acting up. I'm back on steroids. Wah, wah. But you can see it gets shrivelly, but they still taste great. So I can't recommend that one highly enough. I mean, flavor-wise, there's definitely better flavor-wise. I think I have that as an 8. Not swayed from growing it. Good, Karen. I don't want you to be swayed from growing because it's really great. Another one, speaking of Veroni Glass or Crow's Eye, long keepers in July. Yeah, I know. We'll see how long they last. This is another one that Kina sent me that I believe you can no longer find seeds for. It's called Chernichka or Blueberry. I had a heck of a time getting these to germinate too. Sweet Kina sent it to me twice. And now I've got 2 beautiful plants. This is one of them. Hi, Tomato. Hi, Eva. No problem being late. Basically, I've just gotten outside. So these are taking a while to mature because of the antho, but I sure am glad that I've got 2 nice healthy plants of this also that I'll be able to share seeds from. This thing's just hilarious. This is that Chocolodnik, which is in way too small of a container. I have to water it twice a day. You can see it's stressed, but look, look at this. Wow, didn't see how big that one was. I don't know if you guys can see how big these fruits are compared to my hand there. Wow. So definitely a mini dwarf. You could grow it inside. You would just have to have lights that are high enough. Anything else I want to show you up here? That poor green stalk is dead thanks to the cabbage moths and just having stuff in there that's not meant for hot weather. Oh, here's what the Lil Red and Black plant looks like. It was getting a little disease, so the foliage is a bit scarce, but and I've been picking off this one's blushing also. So they get pretty tall also. It's a mini dwarf. Have another one. Oh, what happened? Hopefully I'm back. Have another one. This is also Lil Red and Black right here. Okay, let's go. Poor Cardaro's and Ansel's request. Let's go see You Can't, You Won't, You Don't Stop. So if you look at the garden as a whole, from back here it doesn't look bad. When you get close, I went and cut off a lot of crunchy stuff yesterday. It's just so hard to keep up. Hi, Olivia. Glad you're here. I think it was Missy. This is Etoile chocolate right here in this grow bag. looking really good and tall and productive. Really in love with that one. There's a ripe fruit on there. Etoile chocolate. And those seeds I got from Carolina's Paradise. I don't know if she has it on her site yet or not. We did a trade, but I'm sure she will have it on her site soon. So this is Cherry Row, which in general is not doing great. Not that we don't love cherries, we do, but some are doing really well. Pixie Fire by Terra Nova Farms, one of my favorite cherries of the year. Was grateful enough to get these from Teresa. That is doing great. I've got 2 plants of that. Kina, our terracotta cherry here, wasn't looking great at first, but it's really, really looking great. Lawn keepers are not doing well at all. This is my Anarita. Look at this sorry thing. And I think it was Malachite Jen said hers was doing great. Lots of nice healthy growth up top. You also have to remember I did have like 100-degree temperatures for a couple weeks, so fruit wasn't really that setting till then. But yeah, not a lot of action there. This is another Long Keeper de Cerbo Toscano, really kind of scarce, but again, hope with the fresh stuff up here. Okay, here's Cordaro. This is, you can't, you won't, you don't stop. Not too bad. Not too bad. It's growing tall. I mean, we had one plant, what was it? Kiss the Sky? No. I forget. We had one plant back here we had to trash already. My Anarita looked like a big bush. Oops. Loaded with fruit. One of few that really giving me stuff this year. I'm so glad. Jen said the same thing. Malachite Jen said the same with hers. Yeah, not for me for some reason. Maybe these are, I've got them in, those are 5-gallon grow bags. Maybe they just prefer bigger? You wouldn't think so since they're determinate, but I don't know. This is another Long Keeper I was given from a member from Spain. It's a regional one. The rest still looks great. Yeah, I think so. I think overall the plant looks great. Does yours look? Ooh, we've got a ripe one back here. How'd I miss you, little guy? Member from Spain. Oh, it's a regional Long Keeper from his dad's village in Spain. It's called Ramalet Calpapa. Oh, here's my Ray Array, which looks terrible. Terrible. I've got a couple small fruits up here, and it needs a good staking, obviously, but just terrible. And let me tell you, one plant that never seems to succumb to disease is, for some reason, and it's nothing we did, our Bananas Noir. This is Bananas Noir, and these two, one in the grow bag and one in the ground, Bananas Noir. It just, and I know Malachite Jen said the same thing last year. I say this as I pick this dead stuff off. It really just does well. Really kicks off mid-season and beyond. And it gets tall. So for those of you who are growing it, I'd like to hear your experience. One of my favorites, not just because it's ours, but I think it's really sweet and delicious. Anything else you guys know you want to see? We're already almost at an hour. But if you know you want to see something, I can head over there. There's a lot in this garden that, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to be as ripening as much as the in-ground, or not the in-ground beds, the raised beds. So like we've got Bill Yoder's stuff in the front here. Now, some of his, like his Sufferwell and all that, I started that in February, which is why I got early ripening. We've got Everything Counts in large amounts. Wasn't my favorite, but it sure is a pretty one. Precious, I haven't had any ripe yet. This is I noticed this today, my Lavorgien potato leaf, the one I reviewed yesterday with all those gorgeous fruits. It looks like it's done. Who knew? This is one of Bill's called Behind the Wheel from the Depeche Mode series. That's loaded with fruit. So this is why, I mean, look at it all. This is why I can't really complain, gang, when I've got disease and the heat setting in. Like, you saw what my kitchen counter looks like. You see what these plants look like. I can't complain. I know so many of you are just aching for that one tomato. Part of me feels very, very guilty actually sharing the tomatoes because I don't want to hurt any of you. And I don't want it ever to appear like I know what I'm doing and you don't. And I hope I never sound like that because I don't. It really is the luck of the draw with weather. And I say this every week, every show, that we're so at the mercy of Mother Nature. But I never, ever want to come across as I've got a lot of tomatoes because I know what I'm doing. Because I don't. I totally don't. I'm learning just like you guys. So I do feel guilty a bit showing my tomatoes. Eye candy's better than no candy at all. Thanks, Satya. That makes me feel better. Thank you. I hope that's... I guess if you didn't want to see it, you guys wouldn't be watching. I'm just inspired by what you show. Growing tomatoes definitely keeps us humble. It does, Francis. You are right. Keeps us very humble. Here's another one of Bill's Strangelove, which is very, very productive. And just didn't care for this one much either. If you like antho, I mean, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. If you like antho, you would like it. The antho part is the part I didn't care for. The rest of it is good. It's just very mild. I love seeing what everyone grows. I'm so glad. Me too. Me too. Here we've got Shake the Disease, which looks like it is kind of a little ridden with disease. Hang on, I want to read what Rowena just said. Different locations also have slightly different seasons, so ripe tomatoes may be earlier or later. Great point, Rowena, great point. Laura says, you sent me seeds for Uluru Ochre when mine didn't germinate. I'll send you a pic. I got a late start, but it's lovely. I'm so glad. I'm really glad to hear that. That's a really nice variety. Even better, I think, is different, but that dwarf ochre heart, wow, that's insane. This is green Milo, which we tasted the other night. I'll be honest, I was expecting more. It was really good, but I think I was just expecting a pow. And this is black micro, which we haven't had any ripe ones yet. I don't even really see anything blushing. See what Missy just said. You have a lot of plants, lots of tomatoes. You don't waste, so enjoy. Each season is a new one. You never know what you will get. True. Better late than never. Good afternoon. Hey, Cynthia. Glad you're here. What do we have over here? What's this big guy? Oh, this is, I've been waiting for this one. Keen, I think you're growing it too. Sicilian Godfather. Nothing yet, but I do see some blushing right here. So that's good. Oh, and this is Malachite Elf. Thanks to Keena, who told me about this gorgeous variety. I think the plant in my grow bag, well, this is in a grow bag too, but by the deck is going to have the first ripe one, but consider it got such a late start. I mean, look at this date, you guys. May 13th, seeds dropped into soil. You know how that time of year when I'm doing my Lawrence Tomato Awesome Sauce and we're always like, oops, seeds fell into soil, it's probably too late. But for me, May 13th is clearly not too late. And I want to do, I kind of want to write this down so I know that, yes, you can start seeds. I mean, every variety is going to be different, of course, but you can start seeds at a certain date and still be okay. This is another one. Oh, we did pick some Domingo the other day. We're growing this from Mr. Tomato Head, trying to get that elusive 2-pound tomato, and no go. Just Kiss the Sky. Looking so good. That's a really delicious tomato, Kiss the Sky. Toad Suck Toad. I don't think we've done an official review on that yet. This is a kind of hard to see. I decided to take a sucker plant of Jarson 5, which happens, as luck would have it, it's like my most productive Jarson. So I took this sucker June 7th, and you can see, and it wasn't a particularly big sucker. It's got tomatoes on it, so I really love sucker plants for fall, for, you know, if your garden's not going so well, you've always got these backups. Most people can fit a grow bag here or there, and I've got a couple of these sucker plants going. So when everything's looking sad, and it's definitely like, I don't know if I'm going to have a garden to tour in a couple weeks, honestly. At least I have those, which will be great. And most of them I had to kind of say, I think this one's going to be good, so let me take a sucker, because they're not stuff I've grown before. And I did it with Purple Rain, which was a good call, Dwarf Purple Heartthrob, which was a good call, Nano's Meatball, which was a good call, Earth Angel, good call. That might be it. Oh, and Raspberry Beret, another good call. So nothing that stinks so far. There's the member that, oh no, it's a different member. So Sand Hillette, you just planted 4 more plants, Teresa. That's fantastic. Sand Hillette is the one that sent me seeds for Lavorgienne. Also sent extras so we could give, Kina, Jen, and I could give them out as gifts to many of you. So many of you are able to grow it this year also. Very kind and generous. She's from France, and she sent me some seeds from Spain. And there's one in particular that she said it's amazing. Plant's not looking that great. It's called Liator Trace Grosse. But back over here is where the tomatoes are. So at least I'll get something. And then the tops of the plants are all looking good. So that's my saving grace. There's nothing blushing here, but this Butterscotch Stripes, another one from Sean from Bounty Hunter. I'm doing really well with most of his varieties this year. Butterscotch Stripes was excellent. I think that was an 8 out of 10. So yeah, there's quite a few things in here that have not tasted yet, but that's okay. Domingo, haven't tasted the Domingo yet. Oh, hello, Chipmunk. Thanks for stealing my micro dwarfs, dude. We're seeing, last week you saw baby bunnies and they're all over the place too, but our little chipmunks. Okay. So this plant is done. This is not looking so great. This is Controversy. No, Beautiful Ones by Bill Yoder. This was another dwarf that I'm helping Ellie from Bunny Hop stabilize. It's called Gold Locket, which is obviously on the way out. This is the other Malachite elf plant, Kina. And I think I'm seeing a little bit of blushing. Maybe not. Thought I was. Internet's not liking me today. Here's Tumbling Gister, which Linda gave me seeds for. Really pretty, right? And look at just the sheer amount of heavy fruits that's hanging off of this. Great. The taste I wish was a little deeper, but it's good. And this is the Dwarf Ochre Heart. And it just keeps producing and producing. Kina picked her first one today. Actually, Kina, this kind of looks, that's a beast. Tumbling Jester, it is. This kind of looks like the one you picked today, I think. But this was a 9 out of 10. So deceiving. I was expecting, I don't know, mild. It's really, really sweet. So I will be growing that again the next year. And look at that. Lots, I don't know if it's too late for healthy flowers, but we shall see. This is one I grew very last minute from the Dwarf Tomato Project called Dwarf Sarah's Olala Emerald. Haven't tasted it yet. Kind of heard it wasn't great. Let me show you my Drop the Micro F2s. You can see, I know I showed last week, but we can do a lot. So all of these, so I did a cross between Tiny Totem and Funny Plum Yellow. I don't know how I didn't remember that. My very first intentional cross of micro dwarfs. Many of you have been following along with me on this. And so I grew out the cross a couple months ago, and it turned out great. What I was aiming for was big fruits on a short plant that tasted good and maybe looked cool. So Funny Plum Yellow tastes good and looked cool. And Tiny Totem is nice and short, and it's got big fruit. So saved seeds from that. And now the F2 generation, which is what I'm growing out now, is where all of the different genetics come out. So every plant's going to look different. I won't go through all of them with you, but you can see, like, this is a nice short one. It's got some nice sized fruits on there, no real tip on there. Same with this one. This one has definitely a big tip on it. Smaller plant. This one's really small. Small fruits. This has just one big ball on it so far, unless my friends, the raccoons, are getting it. This one's a nice size. Elongated fruits. This one's really tiny. So what people do, for those of you that aren't familiar with breeding, so I named this Drop the Micro just because I thought it was a cool name and I wanted to take it before it was done. But really, I could make every single one of these, if I wanted to, a different micro dwarf. Because they'll taste different, they'll look different. But the process is, hey, me and my shadow, thank you very much. The process is really neat and fun. But, you know, of utmost importance is that it tastes good. Oh, I forgot I did one more sucker plant of prime rib. So that may have been a bad call. We'll see. This is my little Napoleon, which is looking a bit diseased at the moment, but this is one that I've been dehybridizing for a few years now, and the goal to be a short plant. I gave one of these to Linda, dwarf plant that grow great big tomatoes indoors, and I have grown this indoors the past couple winters. So now it's in the F7 generation. All right, let's go out. I know we're running really late, but I just want to show you guys how sparse the garden looks in some spots. So this bed looks good, and you can see again, how can I possibly complain? Look at the amounts of fruits I've got coming my way. Crazy. And of course, the ones with the most fruits are the ones that aren't true to type, like Turtle Purple and Lloyd Fry. So even when plants are struggling, I have no reason to complain. This is the lovely San Penis. Oh, something's out there. What do we got? That sounded big. Saw a baby bear out here a couple weeks ago. Not in the yard, but behind the fence. Maybe it's just a branch that blew down. Yeah, look, can you see the size of these? So these Texas tomato cages with the extensions are 8 feet. Gosh, it looks like Rob put 2 extensions on that one. Yeesh. But yeah, you can see that. And actually, San Penis, as far as taste, it is not a bad tomato at all. So it'll be great in tomato crack and stuff, but it is so crazy productive. It's insane. It's just insane. This is one I have not gotten any ripe ones from yet, although I'm seeing blushing right here, I think. This is Belle Marnoise. Come on, Lauren. Verde. And that was planted late. When did I start seeds for that? That wasn't too late, April 15th. And you can see I've got branches on the ground because we just can't strap them up enough. We grow carrots in between our tomato plants, which works well. Not so much when you don't have rain, but like in between, not in the walk. Well, this is supposed to be a walkway, but there's no getting in there. So you can see there's definitely crunchiness setting in, and this is one of the better beds. This bed, I've had to pull out 2 plants already. This is monkey ass, which we've already pulled off a ton of fruit from. It's looking okay up at the top. This was where Malachite box was that went, marzipan gold. So you can see if you look back, Cordaro said, we just zip tied 5-foot stakes to the tops of our T-post. Jarsons of Berkeley tied. I want to compete with our 12-foot sunflower. I'm so glad. That's great. I'm so glad you mentioned sunflower because we came up with a very accidental great idea that I want to show you guys. It has nothing to do with tomatoes though. But so Jen, we don't normally grow sunflowers, but Jen gave me, when we met up a couple months ago, she gave me plants for 2 sunflowers. Got this one, which I see the flowers starting to come out. Beautiful. I think that's called Evening Sun. And then this one is called Skyscraper. And so I plant pole beans in here. Which isn't the most ideal spot for pole beans, honestly, but to climb up our fence. But what they've done, I told Keena this already, the beans have gone and climbed up the sunflower. Even Skyscraper here, I don't know if you guys can see that the pole beans are climbing up the sunflowers. It's a brilliant idea for staking. So, oh, and look, we've got some beans here. And purple beans. Am I showing it? What we think we're gonna do next year is put sunflowers maybe in the corners of each bed, and we'll use that as our stake for pole beans. Totally brilliant mistake. Nature's staking itself. Exactly, Keena, exactly. Here are, this is my sucker of Purple Rain, looking really good. This is Purple Rain, Dwarf Purple Heartthrob. I want to show you guys something that's kind of cool. I don't know if it makes a difference to you or not, but Dwarf Purple Heartthrob and Purple Rain are essentially the same tomato. The Dwarf Tomato Project released Dwarf Purple Heartthrob, I think a couple of years ago. And then Bill Yoder took it because he helped work on the cross with a lot of other people. And he wasn't quite ready to release it yet. He wanted to continue stabilizing it. And I only found out recently it was to reduce cracking. Well, I sent him a picture of this yesterday. If you look, and it's not terrible, but this is Dwarf Purple Heartthrob. And the fruits are looking a little scabby and split and all that. Not the worst. And then you look at Purple Rain, and it does not have that. Is it the biggest deal in the world? No, of course not. But just kind of neat, and I thought Bill might appreciate that. I don't know how many years or how much longer he spent working on it. I think he only just released Purple Rain last year, but I don't think Dwarf Purple Heartthrob has been out that long either. Anyway, and taste-wise, they're pretty much the same. I think I preferred Purple Rain because it had thinner skin, but Craig LaHoulier told all of us, right, that the thickness of the skin, I mean, sometimes it's definitely having to do with the variety, but sometimes it's just nature's way of protecting the fruit. So sometimes if it's in the heat of the sun, it will get thicker skin, which I didn't realize. All right, I'm going really late. Sorry, guys. Got a little too chatty in my kitchen. But I won't go through everything. I just wanted to show you all that things aren't looking all rainbows and butterflies out here either. Just very crusty. It's really tough to keep up with the watering. So some of these beds are looking like the foliage is not looking so great. This bed is a perfect example. No one's complaining. Thank you, Francis. You guys are so sweet. If it were me, I'd be watching too. This was Maya and Scion's Airdrie Classic, which Bill Yoder recommended. This is a very small one, but they weren't much bigger than this. Oh, thank you, Susan. I'm glad. They were tasty, but really just snack size. This one is, I've grown a couple things this size and I forget. Oh, this is Eastside Crystal. And that was nice. Definitely Sergeant Pepper's Peach, we'll call it right now, Keena, was the definite winner of things that grew like that. This is the Turtle Purple. That is not Turtle Purple, which I'm really bummed out about. Really bummed out about. Actually, it's really tasty, though. Next to it over there is Hatho from Phil Seneca. It's a green when ripe little ball. What else we got here? This is Earth Angel from Terra Nova Farms. Doing pretty well. But you can see, I mean, we're losing a lot of foliage here. I was out here watering this morning, but there's only so much you can do. Sunflower does something to the soil that's not good for the other plants, says Olivia. Ooh, this is why I love these shows. Do tell. That is good to know. Good to know. Definitely don't want to do that. Oh, I wanted to show you something else, speaking of the soil, sort of along the same topic. So where I had to rip out a couple plants, I planted in its place beans, just to maximize the space. And also I've heard that planting beans and peas is really good for the soil. Maybe somebody can correct me on that, or tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read that there was a couple years ago, Jess from Roots and Refuge had herbicide damage. She had to redo her entire garden. I'm pretty sure she was planting beans. And a lot of people, I think, do it at the end of the season too, not only to get beans, but also to like purify their soil after worked hard all season. So thought that was pretty clever. Beans are nitrogen fixers. Beans add nitrogen back into the soil. So that's a good thing, right? We'll see. Oh, I've got a really pretty, I don't know if any of you are eggplant lovers. This year I really only planted Chinese string eggplant because I found I wasn't using much others, but I did plant one of these. Isn't that gorgeous? This is called Rosa Bianca, which is an old Italian heirloom. Beautiful. All right, there's a comment that came in that I need to see. That's why I have to plant the sunflowers away from the others, and it serves as a decoy for bad bugs. Tomatoes is the most important part to see. The heat in the neck of the woods has been heat wave warnings all month with very little breaks. If you leave the bean roots in the ground at the end of the season, they will leave nitrogen. Good to know. Hi, Hector. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Appreciate that. Back here is one, I mean, look at all this, you guys. It's just really crusty. This is one that just picked our first one the other day. I've been excited for Rebel Yell, which I believe is a Reinhard Kraft cross, and now I'm forgetting what the cross is. So I've got two ripe ones I picked. This one is a yellow heart called Zoloto Kakisai that we have not tried yet. Again, not tomato related, but I'm sure I've probably talked about this before, but I am in love with this basil. And I love all basils. My favorite, which I have talked about many times, is this cross of Mariani, African, and opal basil. I mean, look at this. It's like purple and green together. Gorgeous. But then I found out about this African blue basil, which you cannot find seeds for because it's sterile. No, it's called African blue basil. It was like some accidental cross in a garden in California a couple of years ago. So I bought a plant off of Etsy, just a little skinny plant, scrawny thing, back over the winter. And I have been propagating. If you take, just like tomatoes, if you take the suckers off and root them inside, oh my gosh, the pollinators love this thing. It's beautiful, it tastes great, and I have them all over my garden. So this is my new favorite basil. I know I've given some plants to those of you I get to see in person. I just can't get over how big and bushy they get. So beautiful. Hector says I've grown African blue a couple of times. Yeah, it's interesting that it gets flowers, but it doesn't seed. And I'm not sure why that is, but really cool. All right. I think sunflowers are good. I think they pull metals and other contaminants out of the soil. I'm having a lot of problems with blight, and spraying the plant too frequently also damaged my fruits. Yeah, I don't, and not for any reason, not for saying it's a bad thing or anything. I know copper fungicide maybe. I just don't. This one's pretty good. Kenai Mondo Green. I think Liz still gave me seeds for this. This is a nice one. You can see, have you grown Mountain Magic basil? No, I'm growing Magical Michael basil, which is over here. Kina, Jen, and I have been on this collecting basil kick lately. If you go onto Deaflora, Deaflora, you will see more basils than you've ever known in your life. This one is, I think this is, this is Magical Michael. Really pretty. But I don't know if I have mountain magic. Not sure. But that Thai, or rather African blue basil just grows and grows and grows. It's like grows like a beautiful weed. Here's another one. And all of this came from one scrawny little plant that I just propagated. So I have to make sure I keep it alive. Yeah, Hector, let's talk, because I've got a lot also. And I know Cindy Stone, she and I have done some trades too. I love basil. So here we've got the Jarson beds over there. Here we've got more Jarsons over here, Cazulas. Hot tip on Deaflora, they got some new multi-floor tomatoes now. Good to know, Kina. Kina's the one that told me about them. Look at this variety. This is one that my 26-year-old son picked out, like San Penis. Michael, we're not doing giveaways during my garden tours. I have no way to do the giveaway. This is called large membranous. I kid you not. Large membranous. We have not tasted it yet. Look at the sheer size of these things. The thing is, they're not all that dense, so I'm not sure if we'll get a 2-pounder or not. But you can see as you look down the tunnel here, the foliage isn't looking great, but sure are swimming in tomatoes. So that's a nice thing. And then here's my Jarson bed, which is not looking great. Not looking great. Maybe, sorry if I interfered with some conversation going on. So Jarson 16, 16, 16. This is the Jarson 13 ochre pear. Plant's not looking great, but look at all these fruits. Gorgeous, right? I was not expecting some of them to get this big. This is a cross between persimmon and, am I right? Persimmon and malachite box. I think I'm right on that. Yes, I did a cheat sheet on here if I need it. Persimmon and malachite box. So it's very tasty. I thought it would be tastier. Cynthia Stone, I started probably 50 different basils, but failed at taking care of them this year. I've lost a lot too. I know Jen said the same. Yeah, it happens. Jarson 9-1. So foliage is scarce, but I mean, look at all the fruits. And you saw the table inside, what I've got already. This is such a fun birthday spending with you guys. All right, I can't get over this. I mean, I don't know why I should be surprised, but I keep sharing this with Kina and Jen. So this is Jarson 1, and this is Jarson 1. This is the Jarson 1, I call it my Jarson 1 tricolor, the one I grew last year, that I gave seeds out to so many of you. And boy, that's a whopper, huh? It's doing great. This is a cross between Great White and Cazula, like 174. The cake and the candles are going in tomatoes later, my friend. No kidding. Rob asked me if we wanted to go out to dinner. I'm like, I'd rather just do a tomato tasting and get corn, sweet corn, and do our thing. Have some fresh potatoes from the garden, my sourdough. That's what makes me happy. So getting lots and lots of fruits on the Jarson 1 tricolor. And I hope those of you I gave seeds to are having good luck with it too. This was a late edition. This one's definitely blushing. This is Jarson 1 from Graf Samina. Look at these. Totally different tomato, same cross. Isn't that neato mosquito? Cool beans and awesome sauce all combined into one. I'm definitely gonna have to pick that one. I can't wait. And really pretty productive too. This is Jarson 2. I think I've done a review on it already. Those got really big. This is Jarson 4 from you. Is Jarson 1 I got from you was beautiful. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. If I Google African blue basil, Baker's seeds, Amazon has them. Baker Creek does not carry it. You can't find seeds. It's, it's just called African blue basil. You cannot find seeds. You have to purchase a plant. And you can find out more information just by Googling where they talk about it being sterile. So look on Etsy. I think I spent a couple dollars for the plant. That sounds like what's for dinner, cool beans and awesome sauce. Yeah, I love our life. It's not perfect, but I'd rather just stay at home and harvest and you know, you guys know it's the most wonderful time of the year, right? I shared about this Jarson 4 last week. From the picture is supposed to be like a red beefsteak, but the cross is malachite box and a variety called Sakuyuka Chudziak. And when I try to translate that, it's like something purse. So this variant is coming out. I haven't seen this variant in Jarson 4 before. It's more like a purse, like the ochre pear kind of. So I'm super excited for these. Haven't tried it yet. There is an African basil, going back to the basil, Terry. There is like Marirani African basil. There's another African basil, but the African blue is the one. There's an interesting story behind it too, which I wouldn't attempt to reproduce, but it talks about how it was just some cross in backyard garden of somebody in California. Here's another much smaller one, but let me show you what the underside of these looks like. Look at that. Gorgeous, right? And that for some reason it just doesn't produce seed. I don't know. So this bed's looking okay too. This isn't looking as bad as the Jarson bed. What are these? Abraham Brown. Only have picked one Abraham Brown so far, but look at them all. Look at them all. Really excited. I think Jen loved this one, so excited to try these. There is a blue spice basil. Yes, there is, which I have seeds for. This is Amarillo Rust Heart, which was just kind of okay. This is Deb, if you're still here, Chef Gaigetta. Plant's not looking great at all, but boy, have I gotten a lot off of this. Have you tried yours yet? They're super pretty. These are blushing. Really, really nice variety. This is some Muddy Mambas. And you can see this? Things are so dry that the plants are starting to bend in half. So we're staking like crazy, but there's only so much you can do. It's crazy. Yeah, it was dry last year. It was nothing like this. And I know Jen is really struggling also. This one's pretty much done, Carolina Dusk, but boy, did we get a lot of tomatoes off of that. And it was pretty good. This is another one, Chinese Princess. These are all tiny ones, but we were getting some big ones. This is a green one, ripe. Green, boy, did we have gotten so many fruit off of Chinese Princess. Deb says, not yet. Just picked a blushing pear of Chef Gaigetta today. Yay! I did cut into the inside just to see. I don't think it was fully ripe yet, but it looks fantastic. What's over here? Oh, this is the Core Antico di Ravenna. Can't keep up with these things. So pretty, aren't they? Yeah. So that's the state of the garden today. Oh, and this one, it looks like nothing here. It looks like it stops here. I'm not sure if I can do all this with the camera, but this whole thing, I don't even know. It's all bent in half, this plant, which you can't even see. It's all bent in half. It's taller than this one, I'll say that, and it just bent over. It's called Nostrano Grasso. It's supposed to be a very rare Italian variety. We do not have one single fruit, not one. We keep seeing like little flowers. I have yet to see a fruit. We're not getting anything. Such a waste of space. Such a waste of space. I really want to grow that variety. But, I mean, it was big and bushy. I mean, this entire garden here, this is one crazy garden we've got. For some reason, this bed's just exploding. But yeah, no Nostrano Grasso. Oh, here's the one, Kina, that we were talking about from Katrine. Humia rumeline. See, I've got some blushing ones down there too. So, all right, I could talk about this all night. I started topping some plants. I lost control of my suckers early on. Yeah, Rob was topping. I think he kind of forgot. We need to top some more because clearly we don't need any more tomatoes. So it's funny that it's only the end of July and things are winding down, but they are. But that's okay. that's all right. And we've got some sucker plants that'll keep us going. And some of these are going to get a second wind. I remember last year the Jarsons, and I only grew 2 last year, the 1 and the 18-3, they exploded late season too. That's the reason why I like Jarsons. Those crosses and all the variants and stuff are a lot of fun. So, you know, I'll plan on doing this again next Tuesday. We'll see what we get, but I just want to be honest and show you that things aren't always looking great, even with a lot of tomatoes. It's almost like they're like, you know, over 2 weeks we're going to spit out everything and then we're done. Almost like a determinate. I don't know why. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me and spending my 55th birthday with me. I hope you had as great of a time as I did. So we've got 2 more things this week. Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce on Thursday, and our August episode of Tomato Talk Live with Jen and I is this Friday, because we're back to the first Friday of the month. So even though we just had one two weeks ago, we're going to be back on Friday. So a couple more times this week, you have to just talk tomatoes with us. That's all. So thank you guys. I love you. Thank you all for the wishes. And I love you guys. Peace and love. Get your gratitude on and go grow tomatoes. Bye, gang.